creative writing chapbook reading. There are programs both on the table with the red tablecloth and on the top corner of the seating area. There's, as I said, couches down here. There's also more space on the stairs thing. I never know what to call this space. Before I begin, a technical note for the readers. The microphone, squeeze this little handle, and it becomes the height that you want it to be. And then you let go of it, and it will stay there. So everybody can have exactly the microphone that they deserve. Or need. So welcome to the 2017 Creative Writing Chapbook reading by students with a minor in creative writing or an emphasis in creative writing. Thank you for coming to listen. And thank you to all my colleagues in English and around the college for supporting and teaching these students. And also to all the friends and family of these writers that have supported all the sitting in corners and reading, all the staring into space or a notebook, all the writing down of things done and said and seen and heard, all the walking around, talking to trees, all the transformations, all the things that writers do or undergo. Tonight, those writers will read a part of the chapbooks they've been making this semester. And the chapbooks they've made are on display on the back table. Some have a sign that says, "Take one." Some have a sign that says, "Please help me out with a few dollars if you can, because it costs money to make a chapbook and support writers by finding them, giving some money, or putting some money in the jar, etc." And we'll have a brief break in the middle where you can look at those, and then again at the end when we have a reception. There's also copies of the Chapbook Collected magazine that the students in the class made and featuring the work of the students in the class. You're welcome to take one of those. And please ask the writer about what you heard or what you read. It's been a privilege to write with and talk to and read these writers. In the program, which hopefully you all got, it's a wonderful piece of art in itself. You'll find a little more about each of them. As true writers, even the program was a space that they found a way to write. And there's also a space, as you'll see, partially because the 2-page signature left some extra pages, but it's a space where if you want to make notes or write along with the reading, that's a wonderful way to listen. Just yesterday, a poet friend was showing me a poem, and she said, "I began this during your reading, and rather than feeling offended that she was writing instead of listening to me, I felt honored." Writing is always a kind of listening, after all. The readers, in an innovation suggested by this year's class, will be introduced by the person in the class that precedes them in the reading order. Now you're asking yourselves, who's going to introduce the first person? Well, the first person will be introduced by the last reader, who has no person after them to introduce. So it will, instead of being a hierarchical line, it will become a circle, and the first person will introduce the last. So please listen and write and then read and meet and talk, and please welcome our last reader and first introducer, Shay King.
Abby Kirby is herself most of the time, except for when she is not. Her work, Everyone Else Is Taken, is an exploration of herself and her relationship to dressing up as fictional characters. It focuses on the concepts of things that are hidden in order to ask the question, who are you really? Today, she has brought herself and her not-self to try to find an answer. For those interested in following her deeper along the path to an answer, the journey will continue on Abby's Instagram, which she has handed out for your invitation.
Oh, it's such a long way down.
The microphone I need and that. So I encourage you, if you are following along on Instagram, you will go to my page, Everyone Else Is Taken, and it is The very bottom picture, what would have been the first picture I posted, but will be the last picture you see. There are some wonderful lights, and I'm posing, and I'm quite adorable. Everyone else is taken. All those ghosts, someone once wrote. No one knows what lies here, who or what dies here, but that is what makes it fun. WKLQJB, WKDW, OLYHLQ, KROHB, DQG, XX, DJDLQB, W, Z, DOOB, DQG, XQ, GHU, EHGB. Now go 3 letters back. And that ghost came back to haunt me. And that ghost came back to save me. And that ghost came back just to leave me. I can feel you pulling at me with one cold and clammy hand, like the beckoning between my lungs and sternum and chest cavity. What is between us is strange. Some might call it love, and others hate, but I call it something much more far away. I have ghosts that I don't want to share, only seen in black lights or when you chant a name. So sing hail into all those ghosts of empty laptop shells and clothes tossed onto the floor like you and like me. If you are following along on Instagram, you will return to the home page, and there is a picture next to the one that you were looking at of myself, as I usually am, except not as I usually am, in the costume, looking directly at you. Things that come in threes. Come closer. I'll sing you the weather. I'll play you a symphony for sunny summer days. Look into my 1, my 2, my 3 eyes like a scrying mirror, and you will see all that ever was, or is, or shall be. And you and I are flecked with gold and sugar and tree sap. My love is measurable in stitches, in sleep lost, and in rows of film from that old VHS tape you found in the back of your closet, wrapped over your hands. And by the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes closer, closer, closer. This is a story about me, about us, and I am divided, collided with you into my idealized, my shadow, and how I perceive myself to be. And all bad things come in breeze and winds, and that which is left alone. We will now move to the top of the Instagram, the pictures I have most recently posted. On what is the right side of the screen, there's a picture of me. And there's a little bit of blood dripping down my face. How gruesome. This morning, I scraped blood, fake, from under my fingernails. I had spent the evening bleeding from my right eye. And why are we repulsed by that which is most within us, blood or otherwise? All things that are inside of us will one day come out. You are made of the same cosmic star stuff, but still I am not enough. I have 2 different skeletons that keep me standing upright. And skeletons, we hear those too. The things that hold us together, but we don't want anyone to see. Because, let me admit it, I am nothing without you. You whom I cannot refer to by name. It's because of you that the blood has gotten into my mouth and onto my hands. Note to self, fake blood burns your eyes and stings. Western thought focuses on the escape of the body, death without dying, and it is through you that I have died so many times before. And it is through you I can finally see what all that blood looks like. How closely our bones meld together, because we all bleed from our right eyes. And then if you will move to the most recent picture I would have posted at the top of the screen on your left, I'm holding a weird thingamajig. Two, three, 4, 5, dash. 1, 2, 5, dash. 2, 4, dash. 2, 3, 4, space. 2, 4, dash. 2, 3, 4, space. 1, 3, 4, 5, dash. 1, 3, 5, dash. 2, 3, 4, 5, space. 1, space. 1, 2, 3, 4, dash. 1, 3, 5, dash. 1, 5, dash. 1, 3, 4. None of this is what you think it is. Everything hides within itself, under the vast layers of candy wrappers, snow slush, and notes that I wish I hadn't read, piled up into hills on the car floor. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, dash. 1, 3, 5, dash. 1, 3, 6, space. 2, 4, 5, 6, dash. 1, 2, 5, dash. 1, 2, 3, dash. 1, 2, 3, space. 1, 3, 4, 5, dash. 1, 5, dash. 1, 2, 3, 6, dash. 1, 5, dash. 1, 2, 3, 5, space. 1, 4, dash. 1, 2, 3, 5, dash. 1, dash. 1, 2, 3, 5, dash. 1, 3, space. 1, 3, 4, dash. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, space. 1, 4, dash. 1, 3, 5, dash. 1, 4, 5, dash. 1, 5. I'm told that I'm nothing like myself, to which I respond, who are you really? I know that I know what I am, and I know that there is no bottom to this dream. There are more than enough mirrors for me to make more of myself. Everything hides and fades, and it's okay, you won't remember this anyway. Some of this I don't want to remember either. And everyone has said it 100 times before. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken, quote, Oscar Wilde. Or so they think. Thank you. And next, I would like to introduce my friend and peer throughout this class, Amadeus, and his work, Once Upon a Wasteland, a Paradigm of Entries, which asks us to look at our subconscious using fiction and nonfiction and a whole variety of things that contradict and yet belong together.
Prelude. Prelude. Within the light, a new world begins. The sun tried to come out today. It didn't. It can't. It's always stuck behind the clouds. I can always see it through the clouds, but I can never see more than that. Here, in this place, not even true light can touch the world. Downtown looked like more of a mess today. Should have expected that. It always was a busy place, till everyone left. I just wish I knew why and when. There's more trash here than I thought. Could people have at least cleaned up before leaving? Turned off all the lights around campus, made sure every room was lights out. The entire place looks just as dead as the world seems to be. I turned on lights only when I needed to. I may be alone, but why waste electricity? Walked along the road, watching the skies. Ran into a car looking for the sun. Should have used the bike path. Oh well, Not like they're moving cars anyway. They were all just left in the streets. Some keys within reach of the cars, other cars were just there, locked up and no sign of the keys or drivers. I thought everyone left in a panic. What happened to everyone? Woke up on the train tracks again. Must have taken a nap. Not like I'm worried. No one's around. Nothing comes or goes like it used to. Not even a train to run me over. Does this mean nothing's coming to the area? Or are people gone elsewhere too? Minuet. The winds of the forest protected secrets. Finally went to the forest today. Never could find any clues about where everyone went around town. Maybe the trees will have something to say. Tripped over a vine yesterday. Fell down a hill. Don't know when I started rolling, but I just kept with it. Would have kept going, but I ran into a wall. An actual brick wall. In the middle of the woods. Why is this here? Went back to check out the wall. Found out it wasn't alone. There was a bunch of walls just like it around the area. I have no idea why they're there. They have to be really old. They're covered in dust and vines. Saw the other person again today. I got a closer look at him. He mostly wore some kind of cloak. It was dark, but it wasn't black. It looked like it was either a dark red or purple. It was fairly worn, but nothing stood out about it. Went back to the wall. There was nothing there, just a bunch of bricks. The vines were dying, but that was it. Nothing else that needed my attention. Climbed a tree earlier, fell out of it and onto a truck. It had a bunch of mattresses in the bed. I landed on the hood of the cab. How am I alive? Bolero. Deep in the flames, the roaring inferno drowns all cries. The days are getting warmer. I wouldn't be worried if this wasn't autumn. Or is it spring? I must have lost track of time too much. Guess it's a bit too late to remember now. Had to sleep by the fire again the past few nights. It's been kind of relaxing, just me by the fire. Still, I can't help but feel like someone's nearby. I know there's someone else here, there has to be. But just where are they? Did they leave, or are they still around? A bank caught on fire today. By the time I got there, there was hardly anything left to save. What was the point of the fire? There's nothing left worth burning. Another building burned today. An apartment building I had just cleaned out. There was nothing left of the building, and I just let it burn. Afterwards, I looked to see what I could find that may have started the fire. Nothing. Must have burned up in the flames. 3 more fires happened before I could stop the other guy. They're getting more and more frequent. After the last fire, I found a tunnel that leads to a part of town I never knew about. The buildings are constantly on fire. I tried to put it out, but it didn't work. I left quickly. I need some way to get through. Read up on what I could to get through the town and prepared myself as best I could. I went back to the City of Flames and searched for a source of fire. I found nothing and left as soon as I could. Looked through the burned buildings again, found a second note. Look for the heart of the fire. It either meant the center or an actual heart. Hope it's the first one. Serenade. Beneath the whispering tide, the silent depths await. Found some rubber ducks at the pool, swam with them for a while, then relaxed in the hot tub. Last night, I looked at the lake. Despite the clouds, I saw a circle of light, as if the moon was shining down like it used to. I wanted to dive in, but it wasn't time. The water was too cold. Perhaps later, if it gets warmer. I'm done going to the pool for a while. Last time, the other guy showed up. I could almost see his face. He was turned to me, but he was too far away. Why did he just step out onto the observation deck? Took a closer look at the observation deck. The other guy left nothing. Didn't think he would leave anything, but it was still worth a look. I couldn't take it anymore, so I went back to the pool yesterday. No one disturbed me. It was nice. I took it as a sign there was nothing that needed my attention and just swam with the rubber ducks. Watched the waves for a while today. Got so memorized by them, I didn't realize I'd zoned out until the warm water hit my face. Thank you. Up next is Amanda
Alvarado.
Alvarado.
Yes.
Do that first. So I'm going to be reading a little bit from my chapbook titled Space. All to a place I haven't been, with people I don't know around me. They know nothing about me, and yet looking at you, I assume I know everything about you. 1, 2 hours travel, me and you. Only me before you, because I don't know you. Blue is the color you wear. It's what you wear, but it isn't boring. This blue is unrepetitive, with an unpredictable pattern of blue patches. No blue is the same, and none of them match you. Sometimes I write, after this day on the plane, it was mostly about you. I was leading me to say, I love you, without actually saying it. Some of these pages say, I don't know you. Some of these pages say, I hate you, but I can never stay that way for longer than a minute. Explain to me what your life is, and of mine I will do the same. Tell me about a man who broke against him, but also about a man who moves forward without anyone. There is a strength in words that describe you. I'm not sure if the same applies to me, but here all we have is time. Where time flies only after understanding. There has never been enough time. It ticks irreversibly, although it might be relative to where we are and us. We feel it moving. The only concept I don't understand is how there is never enough time for you to die. Did you know that black holes bend space and time? Well, I hope that isn't a typical one and will automatically. I looked up and saw a man and recognized his voice. Aaron? Hey, I missed you. Haven't called me yet. Yeah, well, I was just debating that. It's kind of weird to call a creep you just met on a plane. Aaron laughed. He pulled out the seat next to me and sat down. Come on. I must have been pretty interesting for you to even consider calling a creep that you met on a plane. He said as he grinned. True, I said as a smile broke out of my face, and it was contagious. As I finished my over-glorified sandwich, while Aaron finally got his first slice of pizza, I said, it was great seeing you. Do you want to go to Central Park? That question took me aback. Let me finish this slice and then we'll go, Aaron said, and he seemed very excited like a 3-year-old. And I laughed. It took a good 15 minutes to walk to Central Park from where we were. I had a big conversation as we jogged past a few swarms of asteroids and assholes, like life depended on it. We had finally made it past all the people, and we walked more casually under bridges. And as we passed by the trees, stopping at palms. You know? I was looking into one of the ponds near the Alice in Wonderland sculpture. There are particles that come from the same cloth. And even at a great distance, they are still connected. For real? That's cool. Weird, but cool. I said, yeah, it's real. It's called quantum entanglement. Somewhere out there in the universe, there could be another Andy, identical to you, doing exactly what you're doing. Well, can there be another Aaron doing exactly what you're doing? Yes. Aaron said in a smooth, calm, and sure voice. I stared at him. I know it's silly, but I love the way that you say the word yes. I found softly looking at her reflections in the pond. Yes. Aaron repeated. And I just looked at Aaron, smiling back. As I opened the door, Aaron nearly fell through the doorway, and I caught him like I was suspended in my own gravity. As Aaron got to where he balanced himself on his own 2 feet, he looked at me. He stared. He examined. He stood there for a minute in his wholly loose-fit jeans, a navy blue dress shirt, and a black Guns N' Roses t-shirt over the dress shirt, and some black and gray designer baseball cap, and a black hoodie. His face looked younger with having shaved his beard. Is it too much? I said, starting to walk back into my room. Aaron grabbed my wrist. No, but I do think you ought to ditch the jacket, he said, as he smiled. Well, what if I get cold? It's not cold. Oh yeah? Yes. Okay, then why do you have a sweater and like a bajillion other layers on? Andy pointed out at Aaron's outfit. Let's get it right. It's 4 layers, including the hoodie. You mean to say that you have another shirt under all that, Andy explained. Yes. Aaron gave Andy a lopsided smile. Okay, so why do you need the hoodie for? You know? That's a great question. Okay, let's make a deal. You leave your jacket, and if you get cold, you can borrow the sweater. Alright? He looked into my eyes, I stared back. Aaron smiled, his eyes steadily staring into mine. I pouted while keeping the unbroken eye contact. Aaron takes a step closer to me, keeping a steady gaze on me. I took a step backwards, looking into Aaron's dark brown eyes. He took a few steps closer until we were only a few centimeters apart. We kept staring into each other's eyes until I blinked. Fuck it! You win the staring contest this time, I exclaimed, hurriedly making my way back into my room, and returned without a jacket and with a purse. Wow. Wow what? Just wow. I covered my mouth and started laughing. That didn't really answer my question, but okay. Go put on your jacket. No. Aaron smiled. You look wow. Did you lose your words there, Shakespeare? Come now, Juliet, teach me how I should forget this thing. Aaron quoted, taking me by the hand. Let's go. Okay, so our next speaker, and that's Ronan, has come into just about every class we've had with a cup of tea in hand. And her chapbook Salvaging Solace is written for those who write bad poetry.
Lily pads. Is this working? Can you hear me okay? Yeah? Sweet. lily pads. I don't recall what color panties I wore that day. Maybe the insides were white paints. I like the cute dancing animal designs the best. Green frogs against a purple lake. Rainbow stripes. Lots of broad panties. The concrete memories refused to surface, and I instead remember shifting aside layers of white or cream training bras. I wasn't wearing a bra that day. I fucking hated bras. I had inured the habit of ripping them off, pushing it through t-shirt sleeves as soon as the door was closed, in the trunk, after school, after travel, before buckling up. And I throw it with vehemence onto the car's floorboard. It was the last moment of satisfaction before the afternoon began. I don't remember the color of the panties that day, but the feeling of sitting on the toilet with shorts strapped against my ankles, they'd slipped to the ground and stayed until my business was done. But in that neatly folded toilet paper, there was a red spot. The hue, forgotten, but it was blood, and I called to Mama. Images of being willed into a hospital curved through my mind. Maybe it's best not to tell her. And that day she easily responded. I was 9 years old, still somewhat lovable, I suppose. I'm bleeding. Nonchalant, she takes it out of the bathroom cabinet. Words crisp like, put this in your panties and take it out when it's full. Don't tell the boys about this. I wouldn't know until college. YouTube education via slam poetry that pads should be changed every 2 hours. Kay told me the next time, I believe, that it's best to hide a used pad in a roll of toilet paper. Showed me how to wrap it up in the shell of the new pad as it is secured in the cradle beneath, and toss out the old. Like a present, I said. She made a face. Like a present you never give to anyone. So when I was presenting at NCUR, one of the presenters that I attended, she wrote an entire chapbook about her experiences with her menstrual cycle, and she was talking about how it was such a lovely, beautiful experience and how she felt really empowered writing about it. And I was sitting there thinking, geez, I felt really like dirty and like ashamed about it. So I wrote about it, and that was that piece. This next one is also about blood. A life ended smeared flawlessly across a table before he continues his existence. Pause. Awkward laughter from nearly all. Agony perpetuates without their knowledge. The whiteboard was recently erased, but stray red and black marks decorate the edge of the board. The eraser is halfway dyed from the markers. I don't understand what you desire. He wants to get off. What difference does it constitute his release? Is from wife or whore, serve, bitch, submit. Footprints mark the wall. Incomplete smudges. Each classroom in this hall contains 2 identical map designs. Her story will soon be forgotten. I wish life would not end so. That one was entitled, To the Mosquito Killed in a Hot Classroom in Xi'an. And this next one is called, we're getting away from blood now. So it's called Maybe 4, Maybe 9. Sitting on rocks among the waves, fighting wind to contain quivers. Mentioned in passing. Wait, last month? Yeah. Again. You say that with such disconnection. Are you okay? Yeah. Again. My scars seemed paler this morning. Itchy breast. Was it because of the lingering shame? A blade dormant against fighting winds. I wish to slumber away. I don't wish to remember their faces. I jerk away from the ghost of where their hands chiseled. The knife I wielded was much kinder. So in this particular chapbook, I spent probably about half of it looking at like these very concrete observations of, yes, I do have a teacup of tea every single day for the past 2 years or so. And it was interesting writing about like the different tea leaves and their being able to see them and being able to taste and observe and kind of even hear them, hear the stories. And so I had like, this was half of the chapbook, and then the other half I looked at like shame and silence and this notion of survival. You know, what does it mean to be able to say, you know, have solace, that I can find peace in this cup of tea, but you know, when I'm going to bed at night, am I actually safe? You know, So it was just an interesting, project putting this all together. And there's a lot of poems in here. And, you know, please read it. It's cool. I love discussions. I'd love to talk about it afterwards. But there's a lot in here that I don't feel comfortable reading. But I'm going to end with this one. It's kind of a collection of a couple of different things. And so it's entitled A Day in February. I drank Shenyang Maltian last night after brushing my teeth. It's the first time I've willingly brewed green tea during these winter months. The flavor is supple, revealing hot, dry days in Xi'an. I had just cleared another portion of my desk off, more easily recycling those hoarded items, receipts, as the diffuser spouts puffs of pine. Wet hair splattered against my neck as I typed a message to a dear one saying, I feel a surge in me, a desire to move on. There are trivial papers and items and memories to sort through I can relinquish. Ideally, I rest with you on tatami mats collected with the tea tray and a few necessary teaware, with piles of papers encompassing us. I sort, we'd sit, sharing stories. Marquette is our next speaker, and it was like pulling teeth trying to get information on her. It's like, what do you want to know? What do you want to know? What about your eyes think about you? And so finally, we've got a little bit of an insight into what kind of person Ashley is. And so as of half an hour ago, we know that her 3 hobbies include A, violin, B, cube set, and C, video games. So welcome our next reader. We still have some teeth left, so that's good job. Callus, how often does one find their hands touching their mouth? It could be a whisper on the top, a clasp on the bottom, or a mask of the whole. Though its effectiveness is doubtful since the cheeks are the first to go. Maybe a graze of a necklace, a gliding of the index, or a thumb wiping the corner. What does this motion tell? Deep thought or lack thereof? Exhaustion or energetic anticipation? It manifests itself in odd ways. Colors per second. Green, yellow, blue, yellow, red, yellow, green, green, another green, yellow, green, purple. Saturation levels vary, no discernible trend. Practitioner needs a larger data pool when analyzing self-reporting. Increase the sampling time, the number of participants. Include context. Colors per second. Seventh period. The heater was placed right next to the window. Probably a poor design choice for energy conservation. It was just tall enough for a sitter to sit on it with their feet resting on the seat of the nearest desk. This will be a muddy week for those who pass through the old ice port field. There was rain yesterday, snow is melting today. There will be sleet tomorrow. Partial owners of that desk after the period, or the janitor trying to do their job. Who would hate the dirt flaking off the sitter's shoes more? When it's cold out, those days when the exterior color palette contains either shades of whites or browns, those are the best. Heat rising from their returning sexuality, cold creeping into their back and into their spine. There is an outdoor enclosure past the window, inaccessible when utilizing the approved methods. A strange taunt for everyone. They are all excluded. The sitter is a fixture within the room. Bystanders leap to the fixture's defense when a foreign entity demands their particular brand of order. One of the few moments of true acknowledgement. It is fleeting, the fixture reminds.
in a corner.
Good luck on everything.
A warm light descends over the area. Its hue is transitioning between a rose gold and an orange hue, though her attention doesn't linger on it. The light doesn't help her as she does her work. In fact, it flecks off of her laptop, rendering the screen unreadable. She leans back further into the light. It feels warm. Two sounds are in her ears. The first, a direct path from her headphones into her eardrums. The second rings clear against the white noise surrounding her. She recognizes the second. It's the Jupiter Suite, composed by Holtz. Memories bubble up from the previous spring when she had performed that piece with the Philharmonic. One moment she's playing that piece. The next, it feels like it was someone else's experience. Perhaps both are true. The first takes longer to recognize, but echoes of the melody are familiar. It's a musical riff, one from a long-ignored story. She wonders if it would be a good idea to return to the story. There must be a reason for her to cling onto the music. The two ebb and flow into her consciousness as one dims, the other crescendos, back and forth, back and forth. She pauses as she notices a glint of light off the pocket watch resting against the wall. Its needle-like arms are still. She unhooks the watch from its hook and focuses on its window and into its inner mechanisms. Slowly, one of the coils tighten. The second hand begins to move as she winds that mechanism at the top of the watch. An eruption of laughter jolts her like any alarm would. She scurries to return the watch to its rightful place. The laughter is akin to howling among animals. Her shoulders sag in the light of her misunderstanding. She turns around to view the surrounding white noise, slowly, to display intent. There's no reaction. She sinks further into her seat. She pulls out a small rectangular black cloth. Its purpose? To clean the lens on her glasses, but any clean, smooth fabric would do. She attempts to fold it. No matter how many attempts she makes, the cloth remains a rectangle, or becomes a misshapen triangle. She prefers it as a folding tool. It is best for her to make an attempt at her work. Stowing away her tool, she begins the task at hand. The goal was to listen to the white noise around her. It was proving itself to be difficult. A realization hits her as to how much she listens to music. She does prefer music over the conversations around her. The impact is greater, almost explicit. She can't explain why. Holtz's Jupiter Suite has just ended. The area feels emptier without the duet playing in her ears. Their transition from day to evening has finished. The pocket watch is still ticking. The white noise still exists, even if it has stagnated due to the lack of sunlight. She looks at her computer screen, finally visible after the transition. A muted click of her laptop calls her date to a momentary end. She wonders, with her hand lingering on the laptop, if her day was a productive one. Something, actually many things happened. They were probably faded into the past, being unacknowledged or disregarded. Perhaps she will find a better way to tackle this question on another day. Okay, the next writer to bare their soul is Helen. Quick note that she loves to push is that she actually studied abroad, so she gets this whole influence of being a traveler and a foreigner and really appreciating things that, in a way that most people really don't have the experience of. So listen to it as she reads her work.
Excerpts from the Journal of a Mountain Traveler. I traveled over the hills on the back of a wagon, flapping and bumping with the produce for 30 miles. The start of the mountain pass begins just north of Farmtown, and that is my first stop on this adventure. I passed into the trees early this morning, camping on the outskirts of the forest last night. I have traveled for hours under the green shade. Everything is cloaked in this thick, natural scent.
It's hot, sticky. I have paused for the 100th time while ascending this first mountain. The breeze has stopped, the insects have swarmed, and my hat is discolored with moisture. Thank the gods for insect repellent. I dab the drop behind both ears, just as the innkeeper suggested, and at least the damn creatures have ceased landing on my face. At this point, I cannot hear anything above my own heavy breathing, my heartbeat thrumming in my ears. It's 9 more hours until sunset. I'll never make the next village at this pace. I've never seen anything like this. Violet stones of varying sizes are arranged in a pentagram, outlining every edge. At the center is a plant with large indigo flowers that bloom at sunrise. The glow from the setting sun sent violet rays to the stones, connecting them by light and illuminating the mountaintop with a warm glow. I watched the flower petals open in this light and thought my lungs would forget to breathe in my time of awe. Well, the site is old. The trees and plants are not. During the war, this was an area scorched by devil fire, and almost everything was turned to ash. The stones must have survived, cleaned and replaced by people who returned after the war had ended. I wonder if their faith was shaken after the fires, if those people rebuilt the sanctuary out of respect for their God or out of devotion to tradition. The world changed. So too did these people. But somehow this place remains, despite everything. The southern mountains look majestic in the morning mist, half golden, half blue-green, partially hidden as the sunshine draws the clouds from the mountain water and back up into the sky. I begin my descent today and will spend the next week walking through the lowlands. These first few mountains are climbable, but the further south I go, the taller and steeper the mountains will become. Hiking to the top of those monsters is left for professionals. So I will enjoy this mountaintop here and imagine what the view looks like from the rest as I pass below their shadows in the months to come. Beer is bitter, wine sweet. But the strand the mountain people have to drink is the most disgusting thing I've ever had. Every inn I stay at has the same purple liquid, the only drink option aside from water this far north of the lowlands. My innkeeper says it's made from finberries, something that grows in abundance here. Completely inedible raw, but squashed, mixed with honey, and fermented, it is perfectly acceptable for human consumption. I just wish someone would tell them that acceptable and appetizing were different concepts entirely. Take back the years, the words, the breaths that once they breathed. Let in now the old and the ancient, the constant and the endless. Recall once more what came before, and forget what will come to pass tomorrow. For this is the day of living memory, the only truth we need ever seek. Breathe with the ancestors now. Breathe. Breathe. This was a song sung outside a temple in a small village in the southwest mountains. The little boy had been born in the streets, raised in the streets, and unmade by the streets. One of hundreds of city urchins, he roamed the city dusty roads, stealing food and covering himself with scraps of cloth, and hiding from the takers. Run fast, that was all he was taught to do. Protect his friends, that was what he decided to do. Miko was the great warrior in the War of the Boundless. He fought during the final years of that war. A strong leader and strategic planner, he led numerous victories across the central mountains. For a time, the war tide changed, and the people of the mountains believed they would win back their homeland. But no matter how great the warrior, nothing could put out the devil fires once they were lit. The central mountains were the only ones to burn completely. Trees, homes, and people, going up in the green flames. No one was spared, not even that great warrior. After the fires were long finished and the mountain pass newly created, the few mountain people that had escaped the horror returned to their marred lands. The plants began to regrow, the tiniest sprouts finding their way through the surface of the heavy ash. In the destruction, bodies were uncovered, unidentifiable because there was no one left who could identify them. Mass graves were dug, simple rituals performed, and people moved up to the northern mountains to begin a new life.
Our fire crackles and sizzles in the dark night, orange smoke hazing the treetops above us. My companions tonight are a trio of rangers I came across trapping ferrets in the Gopal mountainside. Ferret hide catches a good price in the eastern lowlands, but here in the mountains the critters are so common, most villagers own something made of ferret. The rangers skinned their catch before sunset, using some of the plumper ones for dinner. I learned ferrets are smelly creatures, the stench caused by musk and anal glands, and their meat is really tough and chewy. Not something I hope to eat often during my travels, I can tell you that. My journey began early spring, the hope of a youthful dreamer still moving within me. It is now midwinter, and I question ever making this journey. Creatures rule the night. That much has always been certain. While man's vision cannot see beyond the light offered him, other beings can see just as clearly in the dark as they do during the day. Lights flicker over the hills, as they do every few nights in the frozen seasons. Shades of blue and green meld together, warping in and out of one another in the golden edges that fade into the violet night sky. It is the only beauty I see in this misery. Our next presenter is Joel Klein, and I had intended to read his little short piece he wrote, but you have already read it. So Joel is a very interesting writer, and I was really impressed when he wrote, when he gave his presentation last week, and we kind of going through all these, he wrote about an onion, and onion's my favorite thing in the world. So if anyone can write about onions, that makes him a great writer in my book. So welcome, Joel.
Does it work? Oh.
No.
You have to be, yeah, try to be a
Shall.
You got either be loud or be really close.
Shall.
And so it goes. Hey man, how you doing? You look tired, should I come back? Chris walked in Martin's hospital room with a paper bag hanging by his side. No, let's just have a look now. Chris smiled and sat down on the chair by Martin's bed. So, how have you been? Chris asked lightly. I mean, I'm here, right? That's more like you said to the other guy. You should have been driving drunk. He got what was coming to him. You think so? They told me he died instantly, which means that he doesn't have to suffer the effects. He doesn't have to go through this. Martin motioned to himself in his bed. The bed he had been sucking for the last 2 weeks. Well, I'm just glad that you're okay. Mostly. We were really worried about you there for a while. The way Chris said it made it seem like he wasn't worried about him still. Which wasn't what he meant, and Martin knew that. Time passed between them. Martin's finger twirled around the loose thread of the blanket that was over his legs. I saw him. He didn't die instantly, Martin said, still preoccupied with the thread. What do you mean, Martin? I mean, I didn't really see him, but I heard him and he heard me. Dude, he died instantly. He didn't have time to talk to you. He's probably too hurt to. How do you know it was him if you didn't see him? I know his voice, Chris. We had class together. We didn't want to die, or he didn't want to die. Well, who would? I didn't want him to die, but I wanted to go. He was holding me there. Do you really think that happened? Mind does weird shit when you're stressed out. It wasn't stressful, it was peaceful. Just the two of us together talking, and he wanted this so bad. But I made him let go. God, what if I killed him? If I just held on a little longer? Martin, you didn't kill him. He was in the wrong here. But he didn't want to let go. I made him. I wanted to let go. Martin, I don't think that happened. And even if it did, do you think he'd want you to be alive? To be alive and be dead? He might. You really feel like that? No. They let the room settle, each on the breather. Chris looked at Martin and said, you know, I'm not going to lie. When I first heard something happened to you, before I knew what had happened, I thought you did something to yourself. I got really worried about you for a couple weeks. You said you were okay, but I didn't want to miss something. Point is, I'm glad that it was just an accident. I wasn't lying to you. I mean, did I have some rough thoughts? Yeah, but I'm rational enough not to do anything. I appreciate you worried about me. You're a real pro, Chris. The room fell silent. Martin's audible heartbeat filled space, while sounds from the hospital trickled in from the open door. I brought something for you. He leaned down to the paper bag by his feet. Martin knew exactly what it was. Green stalk slowly emerged over the top. I thought it might brighten the room, or at least give you something to look at while you're here, rather than any of this flower junk. Great, something else to take care of. Thanks. He was happy to see it, though. It helped stabilize the situation. It was a constant moment of change. There was something about it that made him realize that life could go on. Dan had died, and he was still alive. The world was the same, minus one new detail. And the onion still lived, still grew, despite everything that happened. I also took the liberty to pot it. It's a plant that needs soil. I can't just put it in a cup and call it a day. It should be good now. The onion's new world consisted of a glass cylinder filled with soil and rocks at the bottom. That's what it needed, though. Martin saw the roots pushed up against the glass, testing the limits of the new world. Thanks. It looks good. Your mom also wanted to bring me these. He dipped down into the bag again and pulled out a Tupperware filled with brownies. They're not the kind you really want, but they're still good. I tested them for you on the way here. Martin looked at him sarcastically and replied, "You're my hero, Chris." "I know it." His usual cheeky smile appeared on his face. Everything was already going back to normal. In a couple weeks, this would be nothing. Chris's smile disappeared for a minute. "You look tired, Martin. I'll leave you and let you sleep. Where should I put these?" He motioned to brownies and onion. "You can leave all of them on the side table." "Thanks again, Chris. Means a lot." "No problem, man. You know I'm here for you." Chris walked to the other side of the bed and set things down. The glass scraped against the false wood. Martin remembered the glass scraping session and copious amounts of beer bottles that had accumulated before our stand. That would be a reality, Jenny said. He just wondered if they would be the same as they once were. They said one last goodbye and Martin was left alone again, still slightly lacking in painkillers. He couldn't tell if it was a medication or just the way he felt or didn't feel. It made everything seem silent. He struggled with the idea that maybe his conversation with Danny wasn't real. It was easy enough to dismiss it, but no one knew if he had died in the crash either. There could have been a moment when they were both dead. It could have been real. He didn't know, nor could he ever. He chose to believe that it was real, even if no one else believed him. He would remember Danny in a way that no one else would. Martin knew that he felt what he felt when he was talking with Danny. There would have to be something to it. Despite having this feeling, Martin couldn't escape the thought that change was inevitable. He knew that he was still in on to. He would go back to being Martin, the kid who drank with his friends almost every night, the kid who thought there was no afterlife, the kid that was alive. And on the outside, this is what everyone else would see. Inside, though, he would also be Martin, the kid who died for a minute with the other kid he knew from college, the kid who came back even though the other one wanted it more. He would continue to live with the same persistence of the onion that had been potted. But would he flourish as much in a new pot of the second chance at life?
So Joel will introduce our next reader.
Jordan Paris was born in San Diego, California. Raised at a Starbucks forward just for you. Writing heightens your senses to a caffeinated high. Her writing is more than a dried-out pumpkin loaf of corporate mottos. Rather, the fresh baked flavors of the human spirit. Her writing is incorporate human.
Can you all hear me? Epilogue. How funny it is to start with a piece of writing with the epilogue. When I began to write this piece, I didn't think past the pour-over. I thought it was simply me writing what I do every day. I didn't think of the soul bearing that would pour out of it, if you pardon the pun. I've been a barista for Starbucks, both licensed and corporate, for 5 years, bouncing from store to store, depending on where the seasons take me. People always told me, you won't like your first job. And in a sense, they were right. It's one of those cliche moments when I say, I loved it. There's a rich sense of controlled change. Recipes shift with the trend. I mean, take the green tea latte. In the time I worked for Starbucks, the green tea latte was originally made by putting matcha in a milk pitcher, steaming it, and putting glass in the cup. Then it was popular to put vanilla instead of classic, so that became the official recipe. Lately, people seem to really like the taste of grass, so both syrups are taken out, instead you're left to cringe. Most of the time, the lattes are fine, except for the lady who comes in and gets a green tea frappuccino, non-fat, no sweetener, 15 scoops with matcha, yes to the whip. Someone really likes their green tea. For the most part, it's all the same, the sympathetic reaction at the fact that I have to know all that is not unfamiliar to me. Most people find it near impossible to imagine doing my job. But this will blow your mind. Every drink is almost completely the same. Same pumps per size, same milk, same shots per size. There are some exceptions. We think headquarters, or whoever comes up with the recipe, like the unicorn frappuccino, likes to make our lives a little bit harder. But no matter the struggle, I have a love for all that has become a part of my identity. This part is titled Epilogue because it's time for this part of my identity to come to a close. When the story's ending doesn't suffice and more words need to be said, it leads to this. I try to properly explain the irony of the situation, since on the day I'm presenting my senior thesis of the stories I've acquired, I will officially be putting my 2 weeks notice in. Headquarters and I have the same idea about what each Starbucks partner needs to succeed in terms of creating an experience worthy of the brand, but the corporate plan never seems to take into account the human spirit. Blonde and bold. He comes up to the counter and says, "Give me whatever has the most caffeine," to be supported. Like most customers who beg for caffeine at our granite counters, he has bags under his eyes that seem to move with his mouth, to be recognized. What does not fit in between our beige walls is simple sketches, is this man with dirt caked under his nails, plastered on his clothes and clumps of hair, and a tailline that oozes hard hat. I don't think his yellow mesh vest with orange lining had a name, but even if it did, I didn't catch it, to be included. I hand him a cup of coffee, I guess. Not just a cup of coffee, but a cup of laundry roast, to be delighted. Brand to be exact. It wasn't just a cup of coffee, it was a pour-over, to be appreciated. What pour-over is appreciation and love for the customer. It can take anywhere from 3 to 7 minutes to make. We freshly grind beans, making sure they are a perfect level of coarseness. We then put them in a filter, pour hot water over the grounds, creating a fresh cup of coffee. It's just one. We don't make a pot, just a singular cup of coffee for a single person. Maybe I worked at Starbucks for too long, but if that doesn't show someone who loves them, I don't know what does. Because the beans have traveled so far to be a part of one drink, not multitudes of coffee cups lost in numbers and people, but one single cup we create just for you. Bread, for example, is grown on plantations in Central America and Northern South America. But it wasn't just grown in a season. Coffee took its time. Coffee is like a growing human being, not rushing into becoming how it is. It took 10 years to grow. 10 years. It's like a child where it takes time for them to mature. These are growers' entire lives. They put 10 years of nurture and love into a tiny plant with the hope, not a guarantee, that these plants will grow cherries. These cherries are picked and shed of their skin, bearing their pores, simply for the sake of our consumption. These centers are green, fresh, and untouched, but true to mankind, we put them through the fire. We roast them and blacken their outsides, making them tough and breakable. They then take a trip away from home, coming to a town near you. They go international. They travel almost every continent, becoming coffee for everyone, and eventually, dirt. These are beans' entire lives, and it comes to an end for one person's cup, but he has the audacity to look at this cup as though it was the dirt that the beans become. But like most who come in, they think that I may be funny when I hand them the coffee, because God forbid I don't hand them a mocha with 3 shots. I explain to a man that a tall cup of coffee contains almost double the caffeine of 2 shots. I explain that in a tall one, you have 225 milligrams, whereas in 2 espresso shots, you get about 125 milligrams. That isn't to include the price, $2.06 versus $4.17. If I've learned anything from working in the serving industry, it's you know what the customer wants more than they do, you just can't tell them. After a few choice words about my smart-ass attitude and if I wanted coffee, I would have gone to Speedway, my chef hands him a mocha with 3 shots and just stares at me. It's a look that screams, you set yourself up to be annoyed. But she smiles at me after a second and takes a long drink from the blonde roast on the counter. I roll my eyes at her and tell her, trying to stay annoyed, and go dispose of the browns from the pour-over. She walks toward me to put her new, freshly brewed blonde roast in the back, and before she gets all the way to the door, she turns to tell me something. Don't worry, I gave him decaf. Sorry. Can we talk about Mabel. They live in the back like business card snowflakes. Usually these white cards are stapled to the bulletin boards that hang over the back desk. Corners of the paper spread like an insect to be studied. My boss thinks they're important and stunning. We think they're a joke. They're called green apron cards, and they're about the size of a business card. One side contains a few lines to write on, and the other is in bold Starbucks green. It may have an actual name like Forest or Evergreen, but when you say Starbucks green, everyone can picture it. With the North Star mantra printed from side to side. The line side is where we, the partners, are supposed to write little, actually little as there is no room on these cards, notes to one another to thank our fellow partners for the things they do. Roberta, our boss, reads them though, so we say our snide comments and thank yous in person. Jordan, thank you for helping me out at work and circles, looking out for me and more circles, for being really nice to customers and good at your job. Love, Carissa. Carissa tells me she wanted to write about how I told Caramel Macchiato John to stop being an asshole when he called her stupid, or about how I sing to everyone in Spanish, but only one part of the song because that's all I know and I don't even know what it means. But she didn't because she didn't want me to get in trouble. The journey of a snail is longer than that of a man. David, too, I will punch you. We know there's a level of censorship that comes with these cards, so when someone gives you one, it usually is disregarded or forgotten, as it's hard to gauge the level of sincerity. Instead, we resort to other methods of thank yous. Curtis sends me videos of him dropping bars about food in snowflake pajamas in May. Keith cleans the bathroom because it's bad enough to clean one male bathroom, but now they're gender neutral, so it's like cleaning two. And Kelly tells me about all the bad things that have ever happened to her, ever. Tells everyone in your class I have a black eye, but tell them Susie gave it to me by accident. Don't tell them I hit myself in the face with a candle. Why? And it's non-fiction, I'm not going to lie. Then tell the truth, but don't mention the candle. It was like I became a journalist, and this was one shot of fame, and by that I mean I told everyone I was writing about them, and suddenly I knew too much about everyone. There are 20 people who work at my store, and I only interact with 9 of them. Keith, Curtis, Ashley. She calls me Captain Books at Kelly. Carissa, David 1, David 2, David 3, Kelly, and Henry. When you work nights, you miss out on the morning people, but I prefer our regulars. We have one couple who started out as friends with benefits, and now they've moved in together, all of which has developed in front of our eyes. People are zombies in the morning. Suddenly, anytime I said anything, it was treated like an interview. We have rules that are meant to guide what topics are appropriate for work. You would think we would know. They are in a binder on the shelf in the back, but no one has ever really read them, so any conversation is fair game, if it's quiet enough. Starbucks encourages bonding between partners, but sometimes that goes a little too far. David 1 found out that my best friend from elementary and middle school was a porn star, and he announced that he has seen everything she has ever done, ever. Kelly said she was also in the same boat. I dropped one of Michelle's 2 non-fat hot chocolates with light whip all over my shoes. I stare at the mess rather than look at either face, and pray that my shift is over. While people stay relatively the same, as do recipes, the things you hear at Starbucks will surprise you. Unless it's a teenage girl ordering a frappuccino, you can always expect that. Can we talk about Mabel? From Minnesota writes both the real and imaginary experience, creating an eye that is not just herself, but a narrator we can all become connected to and find ourselves in. Treating her work like a quilt, she stitches together words, images, and sensations in an order that she likes or finds powerful for one reason or another, creating an experience different for everyone.
Is this an acceptable distance from the microphone? Can you all hear? Okay. This magic can't be reproduced. Not with that interrupted permutation of words. Islands in isolation, scarcely subjective, so I wrote them down. Arrived at the revision, now in that manila filing folder, with an outdated label scrawled in Sharpie. But sometimes I still think what came before could still be important. Subjective. That piece was called The Permutation, and it's the first of a series of poems that I'm going to read to you tonight. And some are like that one, free verse, without strict format or structure, but others are blackout poems made by taking the page of an already existing work and covering up some of the words with ink, and then seeing what remains. Ghosts. Rick said that Kafka said that letters are just a conversation between ghosts, just traces and fragments, like the sprinkles of ink that remain on my hands, my fingers, my face when I brush my hair out of it, an impatient flurry of motion. Quick, before I forget. And I'm already halfway there, halfway in the ground. I carry your letters with me, too, your pencil-written words smeared into my skin from all the rereading. I send your letters out to the world, too, when I touch other hands with mine, or when soapy water washes them away. Coffee table books. Ray of sun spotlights the coffee table books I put there on a Saturday. If I just say on Saturday, will you assume it was a recent one? The day goes on, the spotlight breaking because of branches, and new angles from which the sun's ray tries to reach me, while the color of the sky now is what I would call Pacific blue. Purple. I close my eyes. The darkness behind them is purple today. I didn't ask for that shadow. Among the morning glories I planted with my parents this spring are petals, white, fallen from the crabapple tree out front. The blossoms lasted a mere 4 days before the rain downed them. Now I have to wait until next June. With the end of June comes the memory of slick roads and muddy ditches. In my mind's eye, I see the violet sky. I feel a watered-down sense of surprise that the sky isn't black, a memory still. When the breeze rustles through, the petals press up against the tree trunk, whispering together, and I feel the back of my neck start to prickle while my hair swirls around my face. I open my eyes in dismay. This is the first of a series of blackout poems. You can see this is what they look like. And almost 100% of the words got crossed out, so this is what we're left with. And this one is called Adventure. I was just strange. Adventure? Possibly. Or delusions. In gray. Routine in gray assigned the purpose, and I was a choice of your situations. Seemed. Breath held passion. Gaze seemed incandescent. In fact, I think people have souls. Progression. Frost frames the window, dull, no glimmer under cover of cloud. And the girl, 20s, my age, sitting next to the window, opens Snapchat on her phone to take a video of our takeoff. The seatbelt sign is on. Somewhere behind me, a baby cries. A newborn baby. The cries have that raspy scratch to them. I suddenly imagine myself holding the baby, stroking her cheek. Self-conscious, two people frantically try to quiet the crying. The seatbelt sign is on. Around the time the flight attendant comes to pass out the drinks we've ordered, I realize my right foot is asleep and uncross my legs. The shift in position does nothing, however, to alleviate the cramps twisting my lower abdomen, so I wait for it to pass. The seatbelt sign is on. Shoelaces. Moments saw nothing. Anguish, outrage are every wintry minute. I tried, but the smell of vanilla found where I'd gone. Summers of shoelaces, having you. Once, words, the end. An occasion. Symbols dispensed in the prelude, an obscenity. She talks like poetry, I feel the croon in my bones. Ocean waves slapping against the inside of my skin, just like that. Time is persuasive in isolation. It's a nuance that reveals itself. And so I always thought of forgetting as a passive experience, just something that happens, like when you don't realize that you haven't had a headache until you do again. And I am an amnesiac. Rhythm helps recall, so do details. Her beige turtleneck sweater, amidst archived narratives that only on occasion float back to the surface. Sometimes I successfully assimilate the details into a pre-existing life, fleeting images of an invitation in cursive and a 2-bedroom apartment home, before the word metastasize was introduced to my vocabulary. I never thought of forgetting as a choice. It's always been accidental. I quietly oscillate between straining to remember and giving myself permission to forget. This one is called Wondering. A crazy moment, wondering at the definition of home. Thank you. And so I get to introduce the next person. Not really sure what made us decide that our reading order was going to be alphabetical by first name, but that choice is giving me the chance to introduce Kelsey Schaefline, who by coincidence was also part of my English thesis workshop and presentation group, so that's pretty neat. Kelsey's chapbook, though, combines several different formats and mediums, from scripts to short stories to journal entries, and she categorizes them as either sci-fi or high fantasy. Her project is entitled Remains.
Hearable from this distance? Audible? All right, folks, it's time for our survival tip of the week. Leathers. No, not heathers, though I'm sure those croquet mallets could do some damage. Off with their heads, am I right? I kid, of course. Anyway, we've all seen that image of the stereotypical biker gang. Well, all those leathers are more than just an aesthetic. In an accident, the toughness of the leather helps protect the skin from being torn off as they skid across the road. Gruesome, but hey, it's the sign of the times, I guess. While it won't protect you from knives or stray bullets, it can be very effective when it comes to the flat, rotting teeth of the shambling, diseased semi-dead. It's tough but lightweight and can be worn in boots and pants, as well as the iconic biker jacket. Anyway, that's all for now. As always, hoping there's someone out there to hear it, this is Mallory Marcus signing off. Now, as Caitlin mentioned, my chapbook is entitled Remains, and in lieu of an author's note, I included a definition which one of you has in your programs. It will be on a small sheet of paper that will look something like, oh, I moved it. This one. I'm really, yay, you have it! Could you stand up and read that for everyone, please?
Remains, plural noun. 1. Any pieces, scraps, fragments, etc. that are left unused or still extinct. As after use, consumption, the passage of time, etc. Remains of a meal, archaeological remains. Number 2, the body of a dead person, corpse. Number 3, also called literary remains. The unpublished writings of an author at the time of his or her death.
You stared on my line. Just going to clarify that, but it seemed appropriate as everything in my chapbook, well, it comes in several different forms. A script, like the one you just heard, short stories, other forms which Caitlin mentioned. But each of them fits one of these definitions, whether it's journal entries of the character who has died, or simply things that were left over from stuff that was forgotten. So now this next piece is called Allegra's Dream. I was sick for a long while now. Now I'm not. It's hard to remember, to imagine when I was. I cannot see myself as sick or a survivor. Last night, I dreamed of a wooden playhouse, too tall to jump off the sides. There were 4 exits, ramps and steps and ropes, the like, each way guarded by crawling, wriggling things. Beetles like acorns, their glossy wings clicking as they moved, eclipsing the wood in thick patches, but never veering from the eastern wall. The western wall was threaded pale with webbing, though the spiders never left the corners. In the center cot, was it a rat, a squirrel, a tuft of brown and graying pink where pale, limbless larvae stretched and squirmed? No path was clear to me. There was a child, a girl. She didn't seem to notice them. She slid away and she was free, and the other children, they called me down and I couldn't cross. The 4th side looked completely clean, so I knew there must be something terrible hiding underneath. And then for this next piece is actually from a larger one called Niagara, which is way too long for me to read the whole thing. It was originally going to be called the Niagara Triad because it is separated into 3 distinct parts, so I'm going to read the second part for you now. Canada, eh? Dave leaned forward, the firelight cast shadows across his face, deepening the wrinkles on either side of his mouth as he laughed at his own joke. No, sir, I have not. My routes were mainly domestic. He enunciated carefully, putting more stress than necessary on each syllable of the word. Meaning I stayed right here in the good old US of A. Had a buddy once, just once. Hardy, Casey, sit on a cactus, why don't ya? Dave waved away the interruption. Anyway, he had this thing he used to say about the difference between believing somebody and trusting him. You know what I mean? Aaron nodded, though if asked, he wasn't sure he could explain what he meant. Anyway, a long time back, there was this tightrope walker back up at Niagara, decided he was going to go across right over them falls on a tightrope. And he did just that, and the folks all cheered and whatnot, and he walked right on back, and they clapped again, though not so loud as the first time. Danny had heard the story before. Her management professor had told the same one, but Erin and the others were listening with rapt attention, and she knew better than to interrupt during one of Dave's tangents. So next he went over on a bicycle, and the folks all cheered, and he went back, and they clapped again, but not so loud as before, because they already knew he could do it, you see. Anyway, next he takes this barrel and he attaches it to the front of the bicycle and he goes across and the crowd cheers, and this time he stops and turns to the crowd before he goes back and he asks, "Do you think I can do it?" And the crowd cheers, "Yeah, we think you can do it." And the tightrope man says, "Do you believe in me?" And they all say, "Yeah, we believe in you." And the tightrope man says to the crowd, he says, "Do you trust me?" And the crowd says, Dave held out a hand to his decidedly more meager audience. And the crowd says, "Yeah." Aaron was the only one to answer, and timid as he was, it came out sounding more like a question. "Yeah, what, kiddo?" Dave was having too much fun at his expense, Danny thought. They say, "Yeah, we trust you?" Yes, they did. And so the tightrope man looks at the guy in the front, who was shouting the loudest, "Skinny guy like you," and he points to the barrel, and he says, "Get in." Dave waited a beat. "And that's the difference!" He took another swig from his flask, knowing better than to expect any applause of his own. And then the last piece I'm going to read for you is called just that, Peace. You ask me how it felt when it happens. It's a tightness, it starts in your sternum and then it pulls, all of your muscles like threads being pulled toward your center, wound like a kite string, and you feel it in your arms and your shoulders, your back, your stomach, the tightening, the pulling, and you see yourself curl inward, shoulders, back, knees, pulling, tightening, pulling, gathering to that space in your chest with the density of a dying star. When they ask me to think of a place where I am at peace, it's always there, that room above the unused garage, unpainted, unfurnished, and unadorned, my socks on the wooden floor you laid by hand. It always seems so bright, sunlight carried on the breeze through the gabled windows on either side, protruding through the slanted ceiling. I remember the game we made, swatting fat flies with childhood drawings on rolled-up construction paper, the marker dulled by the yellow of the pages. More often, I remember us lying still on the bed, which is not a bed, just two mattresses on the floor, pushed together, topped with foam and bound with sheets to make them appear as one. We lie there on our backs, and your hand is on your belly, and the other gesturing as we speak. We let the cat in through the window, the one who meows like a chain smoker. She settled herself on my chest, so of course I cannot move. I've been pinned by the mightiest of gargoyles. You laugh. I or we fell in love with the trepidation of a first sip of tea when you do not know if the drink will scald your tongue. You sit slowly, tilting and waiting for the first drop, searching, and then all at once it's there and everything the scent has promised. And you're no longer afraid of what you want. We drink deeply and we do not regret. Thank you. Now, if you long for something sweet, gingerbread houses are hard to beat. If you seek whimsy and enchantment galore, the next reader has a treat in store. Allow us now to turn the page and welcome Maggie Dansky to the stage.
Thanks, Kelsey. If you guys didn't figure that out, I do like fairy tales a lot. And if you read my contributors note, I played around with that a little bit. Condensation. I slurp a drink from my water bottle and admire the sparkling condensation beaded all over it. The air is warm and humid from this morning's spring rain. I run my thumb along the water bottle, breaking up the beads of water clinging to the plastic. Now there is water sliding along my thumb. It drips off my thumb and hangs in the air. I watch as all the condensation on my water bottle departs from the plastic and rises into the air. A million tiny water droplets are suspended before me, as if they are affected by neither the time nor the physics of this world. They sparkle as they twist in the air, each one moving as it desires, obeying neither the law of gravity nor the path of the wind. I blink, the water that had been on my thumb lands on my knee with a cold splash, and the rest of the condensation has returned to my water bottle. The stone face. The different colors in the stones form an undefined image of a face. The longer I stare at the stones, the more portrait-like the stones appear. I watch as the lines close and the features take form. Now it looks like a painting. The lines, shapes, and colors smooth out and become more fleshy, and the face is now like a photograph printed on the stones. Then the head moves and sticks itself out of the stones, smiling at me. I watch hands appear and grip the stones around the head. The stones spread apart enough for a torso and legs to appear and walk the entire body out of the stones. The man grown out of the colors in the stones walks out of the room with a quick smile to me on his way out. I look back at the stones and see they are now one solid color. Now the following is a couple of excerpts from a story entitled The Bear and the Violet. For a moment, I succeed in driving his face out of my head, but then it returns again, and tears begin to cool in my eyes. I don't know why Espen wasn't there that night. I didn't get a chance to ask him because the next morning I was taken. I don't know how to get out of this castle, and I don't have my cell phone to call or text for help. A large, talking black bear brought me here, stole me right out of my apartment at sunrise one morning, so quickly that I forgot my cell phone. Honestly, even if I did have my phone, I don't know if it would work here because all the rules are different in this castle. My life has been such a mess lately. I wish I could talk to my mom. I used to say I didn't know what I would do without her. Now I'm falling apart. My eyes burn from crying until I can cry no more, which happens either before or after my conscious mind slips into darkness and gives way to sleep. I won't let you keep him, I say to the woman. She is pinned up against the marble wall by a heavy-looking table that pushes into her stomach. Her hair is white like the marble behind her, and her face doesn't contain much color either. Everything about her is colorless and smooth like marble. She does not respond with words, but instead cackles. I'm gripping a pencil so tightly that my writing callus hurts, and my left hand holds a piece of paper against the marble wall. I touch the graphite to the page and make a single mark. "What are you doing?" the marble woman asks suddenly. I look at her again, and her nearly colorless eyes are wide. Then her face changes, once again smug and terrifying. "You can't hurt me." You may as well just give up now. I don't know what you think you're going to do with that pencil, but I'll tell you that whatever you think you know, you don't. I start dragging the pencil across the paper. The graphite tip screeches slightly as I sketch the shapes. Soon the colorless woman's face becomes recognizable on the page. The real woman says, snarling and revealing dozens of pointed teeth, "Cheater, you trap me with this table and then want to trap me in that drawing too? You don't deserve him. No one deserves him. No one but me, of course. I'll get out, and when I do, you'll regret what you've done." While she speaks, she slowly seems to disintegrate, turning into white ashes. And when I look back at my drawing, it's no longer just the woman's face, but her entire self. And her sharp teeth are bared. I can almost hear her growling. I'm startled awake at the sound of my door creaking open. The room is dark, but I feel the book that I fell asleep reading on my chest. I cling to it while the stranger walks around to the other side of my bed and climbs in, just like last night. I'm ready to use the book as a weapon if need be, but his breathing quickly deepens, and I know that he's asleep. I fight the urge to snap my fingers to illuminate the room and see who is in my bed. I don't want to provoke whoever it is. I'm a captive already. I don't want to be murdered, too. Who else is in this castle besides the bear and me? I hadn't even realized that the bear was still here until he showed up in the music room this afternoon, so it's possible that there are other people and creatures I don't know about, too. I hope that the person in my bed is a human being. I try to stay awake to know when he leaves and who he is, but just like last night, sleep overtakes me. When I wake up in the morning, the stranger is gone again. I read all day into the night, and while I'm asleep, he comes again. For the next few days, I'm afraid to leave my room lest I meet the black bear again, so I read constantly. Every night, the stranger comes in and lies in bed with me, but he's always gone when I wake up in the morning. I never say anything, but the questions eat me up. Who is he? Why is he here in my room and in the castle? What does he want? Why does he come after I fall asleep and leave before I wake up? On the seventh night, my curiosity gets the best of me, and I blurt out, "Who the hell are you, and what are you doing in my bed?" "I'm trying to sleep, Viola," he says, grumbles. "I have a book, and I will use it," I threaten, and sit up, gripping the book, ready to bludgeon him with it if necessary. He laughs. "I actually would appreciate a bedtime story. Thanks." "Oh my gosh," I exclaim and snap my fingers. Light fills the room, and I can't breathe when I see who lies beside me. "Hey, Vi," he says. "Espen?" I breathe. Suddenly, my cheeks are wet and I've dropped the book on my lap. I'm not alone. Then, I'm moving down to lean down to him, but he sits up and stumbles out of the bed. "No, Viola," Espen says, shaking his head. "You can't touch me." "What?" "Not until the curse breaks." "What? Have you been talking to the bear?" I raise my eyebrows and he blinks a few times. Viola, I am the bear. Thank you. All right, next up we have Mariah, who I've had the pleasure of having in class talking about William Faulkner and hearing all of our great insights into that very interesting man's work. And she describes herself in the program as a small-town Wisconsin girl who likes internet memes, but I would like to add that her work is very emotionally charged and will make you feel like you're experiencing the writing from within it.
First off, I would just like to apologize. I'm battling a cold right now, so my voice is kind of weird, so you bear with me. Solipsism. Suddenly your life doesn't become your own, like you're outside and someone drapes a white bedsheet between you and what used to be yours. I'm desperate for a God. I'm in dire need of an afterlife. Restore my faith in an afterlife. My search history reads, my mind hooked to God or lack thereof, chained to the floor of space, held captive by the idea of near-death experiences, the closest I can get, as long as there's not nothing. He tells me he's afraid all the time. He shakes his head whenever I ask him why. Maybe because there's nothing to be afraid of, or because there's everything to be afraid of. I don't understand. If only I could worm my way into his head, into the cloudy chamber where shadows stretch disproportionately and words that don't rhyme fit together if enunciated in just the right way. The room is hazy, and someone's purse is on the floor. Music from 2007, when it was cool to have problems. I get a late-night restaurant corner booth vibe. Alcohol is lined up by bottle size, but I wish it had been by color. I grab a bottle by the neck and pop it open on the edge of the counter like my cousin had taught me when I was 12, back before I wanted anything to do with the life that I call my own, when there are only boy and girl I like yous and hand-holding was a milestone and the word sex made me blush. There are still many things that make me blush, I remind myself, thinking of incessant stares, introducing myself, I'm sorry's, turning around when I realized I had left something behind. So ordinary, so mundane, my ears hot and my thumb circling tightly around my index finger, round and round, always clockwise, can't go back, can't go back, can't go back. The blinds are pulled closed and a lamp from straight out of the 70s illuminates the smoke floating in the wisps of poltergeists, a trio in the corner well on their way to getting crossfaded. Beer makes me cringe a little, but so does no beer. Red furniture and a wooden coffee table. Bottles on the table, a crooked line of 12 shots, 9 empty. The boy that rejected me 2 years ago, and the boy that I hooked up with 2 days ago, entangled, meshed, an uproar of past and present resounding louder than the Good Charlotte song helping my flashbacks along. I took a shot, down the hatch, into the heart, blushing. There is a her, there is a me, there is a him, and there is an ex-her. He has hers coming and going as through a revolving door, and one night I was a her. I was the first her after her became ex-her, at least I think so. And I was intoxicated and he was angry, and the he and the I became we because we were alone in the dark in that cramped back seat, and he was urging me to drink water, and I could only think of that skeleton in the trunk that he tossed back to remove the space between us. He carried me home because he thought I couldn't walk, but he wasn't flirting. He wasn't flirting, he said the next morning as I tried putting the pieces back together again. And I was puzzled. Puzzled, no pun intended, but did I love him? No, that's dumb. Don't do that. And then there was another her, so fast, and I wondered if he had said it again. He wasn't flirting. Why would you think that? As she left with her hair and her body hit by a hurricane. Now ex-her is angry. She knows that I was a her, but does she really know me? She's angry at him and the current her, and he doesn't care because ex-her made things like this, and he could do whatever and whomever he wants. And ex-her hates how much of a game this is to him. But she started it, he says. She started it. When I think of you, it's usually in that waiting room. Off-white walls with storybook happy photos, brochures of things I don't want to think about. When my phone chirps to remind me of my appointment in 10 minutes, even though I've been in this chair for 10 already, because I have to be early to everything. You're not the reason for my being here, but you're the only one who knows why. You're the only one who knows that when I look at myself, I don't see anything, and now that you're not here, there is no one. The world gets awful lonely that way, a little more than now and again. I think of you when my name is called. I put my phone away and pick up my purse from the floor. I can't walk into that room without wondering what is wrong with me, and if what's in my head is just all in my head. I could never describe it to you with words, only the faces I made when I couldn't breathe. My head spun, and it felt like insects were crawling on my hands, and I couldn't bang it with my fingers to crush them. Only those faces could lead you inside where it hurt too much, then not at all, and I couldn't get a hold of myself because I wasn't sure if there was a myself to get a hold of. And I would apologize the way I apologize for everything, because that's what you do when you're embarrassed and you think that maybe everyone thinks it's a farce. It's all for attention. Everyone thinks you're a lunatic, but that's okay, because at least it's all eyes on you. Sometimes I go back to June 2 years ago. Between all the good and all the bad, there he was, standing in the middle, clad in a shirt that stood out in the crowd and didn't hesitate to embarrass and delight me. But we would hold hands when we walked together, and he held me tight and steady after I drank too much, and it made it all okay for at least a little while. He still blames himself for making me cry, but I'm still caught up in the fairy tale. My mind still twirls in nighttime city lights, singing every line to that Walk the Moon song, and maybe I miss him for a second. There's a picture of us on my phone that I never look at, for fear that I'll get a little caught up in it again, because it's been weeks since I last seen him, and sometimes he texts me when he's drunk, and I don't want any more bad blood. He says he doesn't either, but that was before our clothes were tangled on the floor, and I could see the sunrise in the cracks in the blinds, the light sliced into lighthouse beacons by the dark, lightning-like silhouettes of the bare trees. Maybe we go searching for bad blood. If loneliness is my body, hesitation is my hands, and secrecy my eyes, my feet, fear, take a step back, slow but calculated, and I teeter. What if I fall? Where will I land? I will certainly land on my feet, because my heart, against all odds, is perseverance. Battered as it is, it still beats. Thank you. So our last reader for the night is Shay Kang, our amazing non-binary pal, whose writing features transformations and the bodies we inhabit.
Hi. Humid mirror. The creature behind the mist stares with dark hollows for eyes. Particles meander amidst. They watch, slow and composed, as their form changes. Extended muzzle, stretching head, a hint of horns. Snapping back to gaunt, stretched skin. After images linger and trail in the wake of their leisurely shifting. The calm of the encounter begins to prickle. Claw marks wipe away the steam until human skin peeks through the gashes. Habitat. Green. Chartreuse, jade, lime, turquoise, forest. The jungle is leaves. Brown, trunks emerge, almost geometric ropes, or branches, or vines. Dirt peaks, a dead leaf. Light source unclear, jungle seems to glow. Google Images is full of tropical island, each picture the same airbrushed blue. Each snapshot proudly bearing the product of human interference. A resort, a bridge, building, a hammock, even pictures showing pure nature needed human hands. Under wing, the trees are but knobbed green. A fur upon the rifts, scoops of earth, towering high peaks nestling arms beneath, sinking into a lake. Fingertips of rock break the surface. Beneath forest boughs rests a smaller piece. Humans don't often traipse amongst. Enough light to see paw-pad moss, petrichor, life, decay waft. The green sea cloaks wanderers. The inside of a hotel room. Dim light, brown walls, captured or held. Shades drawn, hush. Liminality, transfer between performance, waiting, facets. Are these photos or paintings? Oily blue pallor of storm. Wind stirs mountains water. Every cloud's breath brings fog and tremble. Post-cautious exposure. Venom. She first remembers opening her eyes into the undergrowth of a towering jungle. Boughs and vines and thick weeds shaded the locale in descending increments so that by the time a leaf fell from the top to the bottom, it would have plunged into shadows. This is where she made her home. The jungle was damp constantly. Dirt bent beneath her talons wherever she stepped. Learning to extricate her claws without making a sound was a trick. If her slick skin brushed up against a leaf or a tree trunk, a sleeve of extra moisture affixed itself to her. When she breathed, the air carried the thick aroma of all the plants, prey and decay of the jungle, depicting her surroundings in vibrant colors from warm to cool. What was she? It's hard for a firstborn being to know. There was little scope for understanding besides internal and external. When she prowled for prey, she thought not of the difference between herself and those around her, leaving no perspective through which to distinguish herself. There was me, my body, my sustenance. And if the prey screamed and wriggled as she swallowed, it only made surviving a little more invigorating. She recognized the fierce beauty of her own image in the thick pools of water, not too clearly on the dim forest floor, but clearly enough to see her sleek reptilian head, the row of fangs as she sneered at her reflection, and the oily dark pallor of her flesh. A good name for her would be Venom. She didn't have a name. Creatures who can't speak, can't distinguish myself from themselves, do not produce names. Once she's integrated, however, her existence demands to be distinguished, to separate one venomous glimmer of personality from the next. Where does the mind go when the body dies? Where does the mind go when the body dies? Where does the mind go when the body dies? Where does the mind go when the body dies? Where does the mind go when the body dies? Ravage. I open my eyes upon the arm of the library couch and sit up under the pressure of sweet haze. Groggy, sight temporarily displaced. Still upright and swimming, groggy, distorted. I open my eyes upon the arm of the library couch, restarted again, still curled in the sleeping body's posture, only temporal, partial separation from my sleeping state. I recognize the paralysis upon the body. I close my eyes and sit up and separate from the sleeping body. The further I walk, the more I see the reconstructed building. The metal bookshelves reform as dark wood. The clusters of shelves give way to a broad computer room. The music professor works amidst the students, and my shape billows. The quadrupedal posture alters my gait. My feet turn to talons, wings, and a tail emerge, and my head drops low on elongated neck. My shoulders brush the ceiling. Sluggish no more, my next footstep forward is a talent through the bookshelves. Thrash and destruct and domino the shelves. The scholars sit still. Decimate a concrete spiral staircase to lay in rubble on the scratchy carpet, and when I've flattened the library basement, I tear a hole in the ceiling and relocate my rampage to continue quad catharsis. I open my eyes upon the arm of the library couch and sit up and go to class. I still exceed my body. My shoulders brush the ceiling. I lurk far overhead the room. The scholars sit still. Thank you.
Okay, let's hear it for all the readers. And please help yourself, if we can turn the lights back on, to whatever snacks are left, and look at the books and say congratulations and so on. And thank you all so much.